Live.
It's 5 o'clock. God, I was just having a flip through the realm, as you do, and a quick coffee by the fireside, which I like at this time of year. I've got to apologise for it being later tonight, but because of yesterday's schedule, with the debacle of last night's show, shall we say, we didn't get back till so early this morning, and it's just absolutely ridiculous time. So that's the reason we've got later today, because you seriously didn't want to see me when I first woke up this morning, because I fell asleep with full makeup, and it was sturdy makeup, and I fell asleep with eyelashes on. The eyelashes had slipped off. One was stuck to my top lip. I actually looked like him out of Laurel and Hardy, and you know, it's not a good look when you wake up. So I needed to gather myself. So who have we got? Have we got anybody with us yet?
Loads of people. Hi Lee Leby.
Hi Lee, hello my darling. I do apologise to you as well for being late. Thanks for tuning in last night as well. We're going to do Christmas cookies today. So we're going to do you two sorts. You'll realise, we'll go through to the kitchen anyway. Let's take this.
Sue's watching who used to work with. Lee.
Oh, is she?
Paul's watching. Chris Savage. Shirley Williams.
Oh, nice.
Caroline from Spain.
Oh, lovely. Hello, Caroline. Right.
Loads of people watching.
Great. So we're gonna do Christmas cookies, because to me it isn't Christmas without cookies. It's something I've had all my life from being a kid, and we always have them. It's a big thing with us. They're always out, and don't get me wrong, the cookie bag is constantly full because I bake them all the time. But Christmas Eve is our big thing, because we always do eggnog, and we have open house where all our friends just sort of arrive and mill in and out. I always do eggnog and Christmas cookies before we go to midnight mass. So I'm going to do two sorts for this week. These are called sandbars. So like nice Christmassy ones and different shapes and stars and plain ones and Christmas trees. So we'll just move those off.
Hi Lorraine and I used to work with.
Oh yeah.
You're on the Turks.
Oh, you're on the Turks, right? I was last night. So I'll just let's grab a pinny. So.
No sound. Is that better? Anybody please tell me? Sound's gone.
We've got no sound at all.
No sound whatsoever. Don't know.
Do you want to stop recording and start
I don't
again?
know why. It's back in and out and covering my club. No, I'm hands free. Look, I've got
It's on a selfie stick.
I'm on a selfie stick.
So have we got sound or not? Somebody let me know.
Okay now.
It's okay now.
Apparently, perfect. Yeah.
Okay, there you go then. Right. What we're going to do is we're going to do the sandbars first, because they take 45 minutes to bake on a very, very low light. So preset your oven to on fan about 130, no higher, okay? And grease and line with baking parchment, a nice cookie sheet, okay? And as you can say, just to prove a point, because I had somebody saying it must cost a fortune, keep buying it. I reuse, that's been turned over twice. After I've used it about 3-4 times, then I throw it away. But if it's not scorched or it's not burnt, it works. So, you know, little money saving tip. And I'm using a different mixer, which isn't mine. My friend Phil has sent me this one because it's quieter than my big Kenwoods. And when I put the big Kenwood on, you can't hear me. So.
Hi Duncan.
Duncan who?
From Spain.
Oh, hello. Your mum was online with me the other day. Right.
There's loads of people saying hello.
Okie dokie. Hello to you. Right, you're going to use, in this bowl here, you're going to need your cup measures for this, okay? Because these are going to be, they are the most divinest cookie you've ever had, honestly. And you're going to you need 1/4 of a cup of butter at room temperature, and 1/4 of a cup of vegetable shortening, okay? That's the vegetable shortening. It looks like lard. But it's vegetable shortening. You can buy that from anywhere, you know, any major supermarket sells it, and it comes in like a little box with foil inside. But it's 1/4 of a cup of butter and 1/4 cup of vegetable shortening. That goes in your mixer. If you've not got an electric mixer, this is going to be a pain to make because it needs beating a lot. Okay. Then into that, then you're going to put a quarter of a cup of confectioner's sugar, icing sugar. Okay. That goes into the mixer. And then we're going to put that on to beat. Now start it off slow, and as you can see you're getting a cloud. Throw a tea towel if you've not got, I forgot what it's called, a guard. My big mixers have got guards to them, this one doesn't. So that's the cheat, you just throw a... So while we've got that going, just let me know, can you hear me over that mixer? It sounds really loud to me, but is it quiet and new? Come on, so somebody tell me something. Because we've got to let that beat for a few minutes until it gets nice and soft. Right, now whip that up to high and let it beat until it becomes white and light and fluffy and it's incorporated everything. Okay? It only takes about 3 minutes.
Yeah, I can hear you.
You can hear me over a cyclone, right? Right, once you've beaten that, give your bowl
a lick.
No, you can't. Well, you can if you want, darling. It's only fat and
oh God, no.
Sugar at the moment, so it's only like sweetened. Really, that's sweetened butter that I use when I do pancakes. So into that now, you want.
Amia, get your apron on.
Is it Mia watch? Hello, my darling. How are you and Mia? How are those hideous markets? You're going to need a teaspoon of vanilla. Okay? I just eyeball it because I know. Doesn't matter if you use a bit more than a teaspoon. Fine. And that is 4 ounces of plain flour. Okay? That goes into the bowl. Put your tea towel over again, or you're going to get like the ones I made this morning. I had flour all over. And only put that on low, you don't need to put that on high. And just sort of a little peak, that's it. Once it starts to combine, not till it's fully, because it will turn to a dough, stop your mixer. This is, we'll just get these out there, this is half a cup of pecans.
Charles said hi, Nana from Paris.
Hello Charlie, my gorgeous Charlie. I've not heard of you for so long, sweetheart. How's Paris, darling? So you've got a quarter of a cup, sorry, it wasn't a quarter of a cup, it's half a cup of pecan nuts, which I've broke up, yeah? So if you're going to buy pecans, by the way, keep them in a Ziploc bag and keep them in your freezer. I buy them in bulk, and these have been in the freezer over a year. Honestly, and if they're in a Ziploc bag and in the freezer, they will stay fresh. If you keep them in a closet or a tub or something, they won't. They go funny. So whip them in a bag, and you're going to break them down a little bit because you need them to go through.
Yes, Thomas, I'm very quick.
Thomas who?
Jones.
Oh, hello. He said he was going to watch. That's my friend who was telling you about. David was absolutely amazed that your name was Tom Jones. He couldn't get over that,
Yeah,
Thomas.
he said a lick. Lol, David, you're quick.
Thank you for the photographs, Tom. They were stunning. Made me smile. Bring back. I don't cry anymore. I just love to look at the photographs. They were lovely.
Is he as handsome as the real Tom Jones?
Yes.
Are you thinking about it?
Yes, he is. He's a good-looking boy, Thomas. All my friends good-looking. Right, so when you've crushed your pecans, you want them. Don't make them into a complete powder. If you make them into a powder, you know, I can't stand things that are like baby food. And then whip the mixer back on. And that's it. Your dough's made. This is where the fun starts. So, the dough will be sticky.
Doe, a deer, female deer.
Why are you singing Doe, a deer, a female deer?
Doe.
Oh, for the doe. Oh, clever cow. Flour your board. Don't overflour the board. If you overflour the board, you're going to make them tough. You know, it's one of those things that you... Where have I put my spatula down? It's one of those things that you get used to.
I'm sure he is, Ian.
Ian who?
Chanter.
What's
Said,
he
my
say?
Thomas Jones is as good looking as the other Tom Jones.
He said he is?
Yeah.
Good. That's lovely to hear. Right, so get your dough out. This amount of dough will make approximately 12 cookies. And it is a dough that you can make up ahead of time and freeze. See, I will this week now, I will actually start to just, I'm not kneading it, by the way, don't overplay with it, just make sure it's together in a block. This week I will start to now make all the cookie doughs up, and then they go into saran wrap and in Ziploc bags, all labelled, stacked in the freezer, like I do with the mince pies. So every single day, the minute the cookie jar goes down, I can bring more out and actually cook more that are fresh. So
Jackie G-Spot.
hello, Jack.
Hi, Nana and David. I've got one eye on you and one eye on the makeup brush. I'm getting ready for putting my face on for tonight.
Where are you tonight, Jax? Right, so that will make 12 cookies, okay? And you just cut your 12 pieces randomly. They don't have to be all exactly the same size, you know, that's not the point. It's not, you know, part bakery where everything comes out exactly the same. Doesn't matter. Keep your cookie sheet nearby, make a roll, and then fashion a little crescent like so. Okay, couldn't be easier. So while we're doing this, any questions?
I'll have to go back. I don't think there's questions, there's people just saying hello. Blah blah blah. No, loads of people just watching saying hi.
Okie doke. Well, if you've got a question, shoot it through, because it's a really easy show today. It's not the thing. I had lovely messages, by the way, from people asking me last night why it was hideous. The venue was absolutely exquisite. The organisers were the most beautiful people. Lots of mutual friends sort of were there, which was nice. It was just, I had a huge pocket of an audience that were the rudest people I think I've ever, in 40 years of being in this business, had the pleasure, well, the displeasure of meeting. They were revolting. So.
Hiya, Benji.
Is Benji there?
Yeah.
Hello, Benj. Hello, my darling. How are you? Welcome to Nana's Kitchen. So, my point is, if you're going to go and see cabaret, you know, at the end of the day, there's very few cabaret clubs left in the UK anymore, and it's a dying thing. So, you know, if you're going to pay for a ticket, and people have paid a lot of money to come and see that last night, so at the end of the day, you know, have a little bit of respect for not just me on stage, or whoever's on stage, have a bit of respect for the people that are in the audience, because it's just horrendous.
Joanne Wigg said, sat here watching with Mark as he's home from Saudi, going to show him the decorations later.
Oh, lovely, Mark. Did you have a safe trip home, darling? She's been itching for you to get back.
Lee B.
Yeah.
If you freeze them, how long to take out to defrost before baking?
Right, I don't freeze them like that, Lee. I freeze it as a block of dough, and then I just take the block. I break the dough up into, you know, manageable amounts, and I'll bring it out in the morning. And it doesn't. Honestly, if the house is quite warm, which this house is always very warm, I would say it defrosts within 15-20 minutes. It's manageable. It can be semi-frozen, because the colder that is when it goes into the oven, the better they will be. So that's your sand tarts, okay? That's all you've done. You've fashioned a little crescent into the oven. They're going to take 45 minutes minimum.
Jackie's working in Glasgow. Posh,
Jackie is.
Posh merchant city.
Oh, I like Glasgow. I think it's lovely, lovely.
And then she goes on to say, although I believe I was advertised today with the Edding, you can hear her before you see her.
Well, you can hear you before you...
That's, you're the same as that, bit like that, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm a bit like that, love. Yeah, they can hear me gob coming before I get there.
Yes, Sean, it's already made.
What is?
Sean said you're making Christmas cake
Yes,
this year.
Sean, go back to past shows, join the YouTube channel, and when you go on the YouTube channel, we made Christmas cake. Somebody could prompt me on that about 3 weeks ago, and it will be maturing. And today we're going to open it and show you, and we're going to show you how it's, you know, fed and all the rest of it.
Benji said, when are you guys inviting me to your house? Anytime, Benji.
Anytime you want
to.
You know you're more than welcome. You must come on the 28th of December, darling. Right, I'll tell you, got to go back to the Santa tarts for a moment. You see how they're heavily covered with confectioner's sugar, okay? That is how they have to be. When you bring them out of the oven, do not take them off the
baking tray.
Put the baking tray somewhere, obviously with a towel or gloves, don't touch it. And while they're hot, use a sifter, like so, and absolutely drench them
on the baking tray.
In the powdered sugar on the baking tray whilst they're red hot. Then let them cool. That makes the sugar stick and it stays like that. And for the people that are watching in Spain, you'll have seen them. They come in the little wrappers in Mercadona where they do all the biscuits piled up, and in Carrefour and places like that. And it's a typical Spanish thing, which fed over into America and places like that. And I've eaten those since I was a child because we grew up in Mallorca and it was like a big Christmas thing. So they are your Santa tarts. With any luck, they might be out of the oven before we finish filming and I'll be able to show you.
Your daughter loves your necklace.
Which daughter's that?
The one from London.
My original child?
The original one.
Is she there?
She's online.
Oh, hello, my darling. You looked a bit sticky the other night. I hope you dried your legs before the next one arrived.
Joanne said, do you ever make eggnog?
Yes, I make eggnog on Christmas Eve. I always do it. If we can get a programme in making eggnog, we will. If we can't, I'll do a video of how to make it. It's so easy. We always have eggnog with the cookies on Christmas Eve.
Are you, Paula?
Always.
Are you on the way back from Scotland? Safe journey.
Right, I'm going to show you how to do...
Okay, Benji.
Benji said.
Keep some food for me and bring it tomorrow.
Okay. Right, so we're going to do iced cookies. Line your board, you'll see why, with a piece, or your countertop if you're not using a board. Line it with a piece of foil. Then a rack. I've got this really old one, which I keep specifically for this. These cookies...
Bagger wants to know, do you have a good recipe for curry sauce and chips?
I do. It's called the chippy. Do you remember where I used to send you when you were a kid with a shilling in your glove? Ben.
Judy Farch is watching from Barbados.
Right, hiya Judy. These are our favourite Christmas cookies, which are a sugar cookie, a bit like shortbread. If you go back to, because we're not going to make these from the beginning, because you shouldn't need to do. If you go back to episode 2, where we made cookies, join the YouTube channel, it's on there. If not, go into my albums on Facebook and you'll find the video from that. And we made 2 lots of cookies. We made, if you remember, we made the coconut ones and we made the shorter ones. This is the shorter one recipe. So if you follow that, you make them, and then obviously I cut them out with Christmas cookie cutters that I just happen to have in abundance, in, you know, as you would in this house.
Paul said, what colour's your pinny? He's watching in black and white.
You're watching in black and white, Paul? Well, it's a pale green. It matches your mum's cardigan.
Right, I've got a question for you.
Go on.
Sarah Bio, is room temperature important in the kitchen when cooking with pastry?
With pastry, the kitchen should be cold as possible. If you've got very hot hands like I have, because I've got arthritis, my hands are boiling, so I always use the food processor to make the pastry from scratch and keep the kitchen as cold as possible. If I was making pastry today, I'd work in the pantry where I don't have any heat on. I wouldn't do it in here. It needs to be cold. And if you have got hot hands when you're handling it, bowl of iced water and keep putting your hands in ice water. It's the only way to do it. If the room's warm, the pastry will become quite over pliable and soft, and it doesn't work.
Paul Josie, greetings from Gran Canaria, my darling.
Hello, my darling. The gorgeous, gorgeous, stunning, breathtaking Miss Beverly Hills. Just divine. Divine. Love her. Hiya, darling. Right, so you've baked your cookies following the recipe from episode 2. You've cut them into Christmas shapes. If you've not got a Christmas cookie cutter, doesn't matter. Just cut round ones, okay? You know, with like a nice size like that, you know. But don't use the fluted edge. Use the plain edge, yeah. And cut them out into circles. So when they're ice, you've got Christmas baubles. You don't have to have, you know, the amount of accoutrement that I have. I've got an awful lot of stuff.
Tom Jones said,
yeah.
Can you give a shout out to Shirley and Lisa? They're watching from Stockport and Devon, and they love you.
Hi Shirley, hi Lisa. Nice to be watching. God bless you. Right, so you've made your cookies. You've let them cool. If you're going to hang these on the Christmas tree before you bake them on the second video, pierce a hole in them, okay? Because I do bake some that the kids hang up. Bake them, let them cool, keep them on your rack that's going to cool. Now normally when you're seeing these ridiculous magazines or these absolutely ridiculous television programmes, and I'm not saying Nigella's ridiculous, she's not, but they tell you to make royal icing. It is the biggest faff to actually start beating eggs and putting powdered sugar in it and getting it stiff and piping the edge so that I mean, if you've got the time to do it, knock yourself out. I certainly haven't. I like to teach you that it looks fabulous like that, but it took like 2 seconds to do it.
Paul said hi from Blackpool.
Hi Paul.
Lenny, greetings from my kitchen. Andrew Robley.
Hello my gorgeous
How are you
Andrew.
and David not the size of houses, all that gorgeous food? I've
Because
just put
actually
I've just put on 2 stone just watching.
We don't get that much chance to eat it, Andrew. There's that many people in and out this house. You know, wig people, dress people, costume people, gardeners.
And with all that anyway, because they last a
else.
while, don't they? They last a good few days.
Oh God,
so.
yeah. I like the way David said a few days. I would say they last a week, but no, a few days.
Andrew, I have to take some into work as well because they moan otherwise.
Right, so what we're going to use to ice these, so you get that lovely white sort of look. I can't keep pulling it round, darling. You'll have to stop move. So you get that lovely white Christmassy look. This is cheap, cheap, cheap white chocolate. Okay? That's all it is. To prove a point, it's that. Okay? Which is 16 pence a bar. In the cut price supermarket that begins with the letter A. So we're going to make this. You're going to nuke it in the microwave for a few seconds. Make sure you take a teaspoon with you. Okay? So, do you want to come through, David?
To a microwave. I think they've seen a microwave before.
Otherwise, I'm shouting from somewhere.
What was I going to say? Right.
Anybody got any questions?
Yeah, Joanne's got one. What's a good starter for Christmas Day? And what would you have to eat on Christmas Eve?
That is a good one. Well, Christmas Eve we always have ham. I always roast a ham on Christmas Eve. We have ham and a homemade pork pie. I make a raised pork pie. Christmas Day always depends. I try to vary it, and
well, it depends on the people as well.
It does depend on what they like. I always do 2 starters. I like a fish course as well as a medium course, and the main course and the dessert. And then I always have a choice of desserts as well. I'm not going to say what I'm doing this year because some of my guests are actually online. But Christmas dinner is extremely traditional.
Andrew, I'm well adored. Everybody adores me.
Oh, is that right? So, after about 60 seconds...
Hi, Belinda.
Take... Which Belinda?
Hollows.
Oh, right. Hi, Belinda, love. After about 60 seconds, take the chocolate out. Just give it a slight mix. Don't walk away from your microwave while you're melting the chocolate. There's no need to temper it in a bowl over a pan and boiling water and stand with, you know. Just the whole point of Stepford cooking. It's the fact of a lifestyle that everything looks fabulous and amazing, but it took you seconds to do it. Okay? Keep looking at the chocolate. Now, that looks like you've still got lumps, but you haven't. The minute you stir it...
Oh, perfect, that.
It's at that stage.
Perfect.
Okay? So you're going to bring this through. Now to stop it, just because some people say, oh well, I don't like white chocolate. So to stop it having the edge of white chocolate, you need to flavour it. You don't have to flavour it if you adore white chocolate, you know, don't.
I'll have it flavoured, please.
So we can flavour it, and I've got
cherry.
Absolutely everything in here. From
You got cherry,
nut,
please.
Butterscotch, peppermint, lemon.
Cherry.
No, cherry doesn't go with Christmas, darling.
Orange.
Yeah, orange. Orange. This is Valencian orange. Honestly, when you're doing it in chocolate, you need that. That is it. In that was one of those bars. One of those bars will do 8 cookies. Okay? So that's your sort of measurement. Don't start melting 5 bars of chocolate at once, because if you do, this starts to set and you can't work with it. So do small amounts at a time with a teaspoon. This is why it's on your rack. Make sure it runs over the edge, because you want it all covered. I mean, and let's face it.
Yeah, you're right, Paul.
What?
Paul said Terri's cherry's long gone.
Oh God, long gone, love. And let's face it, chocolate cookies are nicer than those with that hard royal icing that nearly breaks your teeth. I mean, they look very pretty to put on a Christmas tree, but to actually eat, they're not nice. I mean, I did them many years and gave them the grandkids. They thought they were absolutely hideous. So the white chocolate gives you exactly the right look, but half the work. And basically, you're now eating orange chocolate biscuits, aren't you?
Terri's chocolate orange?
Yes. Being me as being the Terri, we're not advertising a product.
No.
No. Make sure it runs over the edge, and you really do get a good coverage. As I said to you, 1 bar.
Hi Ange, how are the kids? Are they watching?
Is my Mimi and O in there? How lovely. In beautiful Benalmadena. Back home in Benalmadena. Oh, I miss Christmas in Benalmadena. We were talking to people from Marbella last night, and they agreed with me. There's nowhere that is more Christmassy. Nowhere in the whole world. Right. Once you've covered your cookies, they look an absolute sight. Give them a little jolt so that the chocolate isn't running underneath, because these are going to go in the fridge to set. But we're going to camp them up, as we do with everything. And I just love silver balls and sparkles and everything.
Thomas, I've not got a favourite part. I love the whole of Christmas.
While the chocolate is still wet, I have, and I'll tell you why in a minute. While the chocolate's still wet, put your sprinklers or whatever it is you want to put on them. We'll put silver stars on those.
Joanne wants to know, what traditions do you and David have at Christmas?
We uphold every traditional tradition. We go to midnight mass on Christmas Eve. We have open house on Christmas Eve with our guests. We never open gifts before Christmas Day, ever. We don't do all this rubbish that everything that has to be messed with now and be new, and a new wave of things, of Christmas Eve gifts. I've never heard of such rubbish in all my born days, to be honest and truthful. So we don't do any of that. It's just extremely traditional. But I actually love the whole of the month of December. Christmas, as I've said to before, in Britain was always done that it was literally a week, and then it was Christmas was one day, and it was done, over with, gone. Boxing Day's out there, and poof, end of story. I don't like that. I actually like the whole of December. The run up to Christmas, to me, is just as important as the actual main day, okay? And I think the run-up can actually be a lot nicer, to be honest and truthful. So the whole month of December, right up to 12th night, till we celebrate Three Kings, every single thing is Christmas. Every movie that we watch on television, every programme is Christmas, every piece of music, every book, everything is Christmas. Now, until 12th night in January.
Hiya, Belinda. Belinda said hello and she loves your pearls.
Oh, thank you. They're new, my darling. They've just arrived from America.
Ian, we're working, love. Working in Wales, New Year's Eve.
Why is somebody asking us somewhere?
Ian's wants to know, what's your plans for New Year's Eve?
Oh, I'm in Wales in Cabaret, my darling. It's actually on my Facebook page. Well, it's not actually Wales, it's North Wales, though.
It's still Wales.
It's still Wales. Right, there you go. There your cookies done. Put them in the fridge, about 10-15 minutes.
Put them in the fridge as they are, like that?
Yeah, take the rack, carry the rack, place the rack in your fridge. Let them set. Once they set, treat them as you would with a packet of chocolate digestive biscuits. They will last the same. They will keep the same as long as they're in an airtight jar, airtight, container. You're away to the fairies. Okay, so we'll pop those over there, and then the set.
Is that the work batch?
What, love? You could take some to it. I'll just snap that one, alright. So as you see, you get a nice crisp snap. And they are.
I'll be the judge.
Divine. So, any other questions yet? Because we're just going to feed.
Norma, do you not look at Terry's Facebook page?
Norma who?
Rooney.
Why? What does Norma?
When you're down in Liverpool. Saturday, my love.
Saturday,
15th.
come in. Hey, on my page. I love this. I'm not being rude. But I love this when people. When are you coming to such a place? Somebody said to me last night, I would have come to see you if I'd have known you were in Birmingham. Been on my bloody page for weeks and weeks and weeks. Check the page.
You obviously
check
don't look.
for dates. And then I had somebody message me. It was last week that they'd made the Christmas cake that we all made, and asked me when they were feeding it how much the smell when you open that tin is Christmas.
Here, smell it.
You can't.
Breathe in.
You smell my Charlie. The smell is just divine.
No, Thomas, I don't cook. Terry does all the cooking.
And somebody was asking me how well wrapped it is. Well, the tin's airtight, and this is now proving a point to you. So, it's in double pieces of
Nice. Can you smell
baking
it?
parchment, and then foil, and then an airtight tin. Okay, we've moved on from the sweetie tin because the Christmas one.
Getting the brandy?
So I swapped into that. Yeah, I'm going to show 'em. So get yourself, if you're not doing, if you've got a skewer, those things you have kebabs on, that's great. And you want some brandy and a cocktail stick. I use a cocktail stick because if I don't, I'm really, really heavy-handed, and I if I use a skewer, I make great big holes through it. So get your cocktail stick.
No, Joanne, we don't drink port. We have port in if people like it with Christmas cake.
I like port.
But
I'll have a glass of port if I'm doing. There is port in this. I'll have port after dinner, or I will have port. Always have a glass of port when I'm writing the Christmas cards. Always. But other than that, no. I used to drink port and lemon when I was young. Did you ever try that, Dave?
No.
It was quite shishy when I was young.
I was on Thunderbirds.
You were on Thunderbird.
White Lightning.
That's the class of you and White Lightning. I was on a port
Walking
and
the
lemon.
streets.
It used to be such a lovely drink. I used to think it was so shishy. Tablespoon, dessert spoon. Okay? Just
Is that all?
2.
Can't you just pour?
No. Just over the top. And then with the back of your spoon.
That don't seem enough there for me.
What's that?
Don't seem enough there.
And that's done every 3 days now. Okay? Don't start putting any more on it. If you put more on it, remember in the bake, that if you've made it, you've obviously made it from the show. In the bake, there's an awful lot of booze in there. If you start to add more, like people were saying to me, oh, can I put, like David's just said, actually, can I load it? No, because you'll make the cake wet. Okay? That's why only 3 days. The run-up now should have been before that just once a week. Now I do it every 3 days, right up to the day I will ice it. But don't put the brandy in or feed it the day you're going to ice it, because if it's wet on the top, it will cause a moisture barrier between the two.
See, Lee's with me. Just pour it.
No, you can't
Pour
just
it, Lee.
It
Have
will
as much
just
you like.
soak in wet. Then you may as well have a bowl of cake with just brandy poured over it.
Joanne Wiggs said she used to like taboo.
Taboo. Which one was taboo?
It was like a peachy coloured juice, if I remember right, Joanne.
I seem to remember that. I think I was a little bit old for that. So my drinks used to be when I was very, because I didn't, believe it or not, and old friends of mine on there, like Thomas, will say when I was very young, I didn't drink alcohol at all. I actually just didn't like it. It just didn't taste nice to me, so I hate it. I was about 23, and the first person to buy me an alcoholic drink was Danny LaRue, and he made me have a brandy and dry ginger, and I absolutely loved it. It was the worst thing he ever did, because fast forward 30 years later, I ended up with gout. So that's why now I don't have brandy. Vodka.
Gary Humphrey said he loves your style of baking.
Thank you, Gary.
Tom Jones said, when/why did you, gorgeous twosome, decide to upload these fabulous shows?
Why?
When and why?
Oh, when and why? Well, we started doing them, I think we're on
Terry's idea, love.
I think we're on show 12. And I always posted things of lifestyle, of how I did the house, Thomas, and people they'd see photographs of the house and they'd say, well, how'd you do that? So I'd tell them. And then always, because I cook from scratch, I don't buy any store-bought products at all. We don't have anything in our freezers that you could zap in a microwave and have for dinner. I make everything every single day from scratch, including bread and things like that. Yes, I do buy shop-bought bread for toast and things like that, but I do make bread virtually every day, things like that, pies, everything. And people would see the photographs and ask for the recipes. So it started off that I put the recipes. There is an album on Facebook called Nana's Recipe Box, which has the recipes in as well. And then somebody said to me, why don't you start filming it? So I started filming it about 12 weeks ago, which I've got to say, once I'm actually on air with you all, I absolutely love, I really do. It's just, sometimes it's the build-up. Maybe what I should do is film it with the rollers in and my house coat on, you know.
Why?
But, well, because that 20 minutes before that camera goes live, that's what I usually look like. But we usually are at 3 o'clock, Thomas. So...
Yeah, that's right, Lee.
What?
She said, what's wrong with basically free pouring? She said, take cover when you ignite.
Yeah, well, you probably would.
Yeah, pour Thunderbirds, Red Label and Taboo / vodka and lemonade.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I remember now people having that. I used to like...
Taboo and lemonade, was that? Taboo, vodka and lemonade.
I used to like, if Andrew Robley's still on there, I used to like Pony. Pony used to be the little drink with the big kick.
It means something different in London.
I used to like, as it does, I used to like ponies, and I did like, for a short time, cherry bees, even though I don't like the taste of cherries. And cherry bee was quite cherryish. I don't like cherries at all, only fresh cherries. But I did used to like a cherry bee, and I like a snowball.
Right, Lisa.
Like a little old lady.
Lisa Wright saying, please tell us again where your recipes can be viewed.
Right, if you go onto my Facebook page, go to my photographs, click albums. When you click the albums, reel through the albums, and you will find an album that says Nana's Recipe Box, and the recipes are in there. For a lot of the things that are on the show, go again to Facebook, to my videos, and you will find all the videos of past shows. But better than that, if you join my YouTube channel, which is Terri Fox TV, and the link is on my main page of Facebook, you should all be subscribing to that by now. There's videos on there that are not available through YouTube, because we do some videos that go directly to YouTube and they're not on Facebook, I should say. So join the YouTube channel and then you can keep...
Lee said, I love these shows. I look forward to every Sunday watching you and David. Oh, thanks, love.
Oh, thank you, darling. That's nice.
Caroline said, yeah, Brandy and Babyshan was a favourite.
I used to love brandy. Well, I used to like brandy and champagne when somebody nice like Danny bought it there. But when I wasn't quite so well off, I did used to have brandy and baby.
Oh, Snowball, Lee, yeah, definitely. Snowball's definitely at Christmas.
It's very Christmassy.
Andrew said, Pony is so before my time.
Yes, it is. It's way before your time, Dan. The little drink with the big kick. But I did used to like them. I do like a snowball.
Mary's watching you.
And I like, I make Irish cream as well. I can't say the brand, you know, the brand one in the bottle, Irish cream.
Baileys?
No, well, I can't say that, Dan.
Well,
I'm not allowed to say live things like. I do make that from scratch, which is much nicer than actually shop bought. So I always make that for Christmas in absolute huge amount.
Mary said hello.
Are you waiting for my oven? Right, well,
Mary said hello.
Let me check. Ah.
Hello.
Perfect.
Mary said
Which
hello.
Mary?
Mary, hello.
Hello, Mary. Hello, my darling. Right, that's how they will come out of the oven.
Must be you, Carolyn, love.
Why, what's up?
She'd lost, you know, freeze on my internet.
That's her internet.
It's 'cause, maybe because of Spain, darling.
Yeah, I suppose it could be. Don't stream your sugar across the kitchen. Use the bowl, okay? They are absolutely piping hot.
How do you know they're cooked? Because they look the same as when they went in.
With a nail, you would be able to move it. They've gone slightly golden brown around the edge.
They look the same to me.
Well, they're not. They're whiter. And then you are going to absolutely
cover them.
And they must be covered. If you don't cover them, you know, not right. And it must be while they're hot, okay?
I don't know if we're filming. Lee, are you going to film a show for Christmas drinks like the Irish cream or cocktails?
I'll see if I can get an Irish cream. I'm trying to get as many things in as I can that people have specifically asked for.
We've only got next week now in before we break up for Christmas.
And I might get a couple of little leftovery ones and things in between. So leave those to cool for a few minutes, okay? When they've cooled for a few moments, wire rack, and take them from the sugar. Try and do one at a time because they will break very, very easily. Okay?
Can't you leave them until they're completely dry on there?
No,
rather than
I will
moving
show you why.
Oh, right.
Right. That one you see, I've just broke. So you've got to be really, really careful to get them off while they're still slightly warm and let the powdered sugar that's loose drop through. Okay. Now, I know somebody is going to send me a ridiculous message and say, what an absolute waste of powdered sugar. Do you know how much of that is a pan? Yes, I do know.
Who cares?
Well, I do, because I hate waste. So I'll put those over there out to go completely cold. And all you do is with your powdered sugar that's left, you shake it together.
Do you reuse it?
And you reuse it. Don't put it back if you keep it in a jar like I do, or don't put it back in the jar because it will have the taste of those on them. Keep it for your next batch. If you're not going to make any more now, stick that in a Ziploc bag and write on it what you've used it for. But you can reuse it because it's just, you know, it's only powdered sugar, it's nothing else. And that is our 2 lots of favourite cookies. So I think that's about it for this week. I'm really glad that you joined us. It's been a lovely, lovely day. And we may get more than one showing before next week. If we don't, we don't. But we will try and get more than one more showing before Christmas. Next week we're going to make pecan pie, which we always have on Christmas Eve. So I'm going to make pecan pie with you. The ingredients you're going to need to get are going to be on Facebook this week. So if you've got to get something, you can look on there. We're going to make pecan pie, and I will also show you, which is so quick, but we won't cook it. We're going to do one that's go to the freezer to get ahead for Christmas Day. If you've got your cornbread recipe that we did on episode 4 or 5, I think it was, get your cornbread recipe, make some cornbread up, unless you've got some left, which you should have in the freezer. We're going to make cornbread stuffing, which is the biggest, easiest, quickest way to make the most stunning stuffing for Christmas Day to go with your turkey. Just beautiful. So from me, Terry, I'll see you next week. Say goodnight. Say try, David.
Try, David.
And we'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.